2, 1, let's go.
Yeah, we are live, baby. You know what it is. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. It's the Cream City crossover edition brought to you by On Your T's and Q's. Typically, we do On Your T's and Q's Saturdays from 10 to noon. But Green Bay Packers, it's Green Bay Packers. It's NFL season, right? It's NFL season, fellas. And the Green Bay Packers have taken over and taken our time slot right now. I believe they have a preseason game going on today. And so they have some pregame coverage going on for that. But we are live right here on YouTube and on Twitter. It's the Guru, Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Chris King.
Yeah, gang's all here. There we go. Feeling good. Again, if you join us, come on in the room. Come on in the room. Try to pull up some stuff here. It's gonna be some just have some fun with it today. All right, let's get this off. Turn this down. All right, there we go. Let's have some fun with it, man. Let's enjoy ourselves for just a little bit and get through some topics related to things that are going on in the sports world. And I think I don't see it up there. Chris, what's the first topic? I can't see it. All right, let's go Noah. Let's
No
go Noah
Lyles.
Lyles.
No Lyles.
Let's talk Noah Lyles. There we go. I see it. Noah Lyles performance. So that's what I want to do. And Chris, you have it appropriately labeled days of summer. But every 4 years we got the Olympics going on. So I think it works out in this sense that we're talking about the dog days of summer. But you have this going on. You have the Olympics going on. A lot of people talking about a lot of things, a lot of topics going on related to the Olympics. And shout out Gabe Hutton. He says, "Yo, what up? What up, Gabe? You in the building?" Um, let's start with Noah Lyles, and I want to do this really quickly. This is what I want to do, fellas. I want to grade Noah Lyles' performance. Of course, we know that he won the 100, got gold, and then the American sprinter Noah Lyles won a bronze medal with a fever of allegedly a fever of around 102 degrees Fahrenheit, according to his coach Lance Brauman. And they say that's what made the medal in his last sprint at the Paris Olympics all the more impressive. Who described the sprinter's condition and his future in an interview with the AP. Lyles tested positive allegedly for COVID-19 on Tuesday and finished third in Thursday's final behind Botswana's Leslie Tebego and American teammate Kenneth Bednarek. Barman said the guys raced great, but to get a bronze medal with a 19.7 with a temperature of 102, that ain't bad. He says the performance ranks right up there. His coach again says the performance ranks right up there with the one Lyles delivered to win the gold in the 100 on Sunday. So this is all I want to do. So you win you win 100, you then have COVID and get third, get the bronze. And again, I know people are just joining into us here a little bit. Gabe Hutton also says Lyles is the first U.S. athlete I ain't cheer for. Here, I'm with you there. And then so I just want to go over, just guys, your performance grades for Noah Lyles. What are you giving him his Paris Olympics?
Probably A minus B plus, 100%. A minus B plus. I gotta give him that. Um, and let's talk about the highlights. I mean, look, that 100 meters. That's exactly why coaches tell you to run through the line, and that race is probably going to be used as an analogy in sports. Period, for why you always finish strong, whatever it is you're doing. Um, that 100-meter race was remarkable to me because he was in. I mean, he's not a great starter. Traditionally, he's just not seen as a great starter out of the blocks, but he was in fourth or fifth place with about 40 meters left in that 100-meter race. And to just watch him literally maintain his top end speed while everybody else is fading, and to watch that man get through that, lean at the tape, when everybody had originally thought the guy from Jamaica won. I remember when they made the call, like, you thought Thompson from Jamaica won the race. And you watch Lyles, he even puts his arms around his shoulders and says, "Hey, good job, congratulations, you won here." And then you go back to the tape or the funny film, whatever it is that you call it here, where you can see like the digital images of the guys actually crossing, and you see that it was Lyles' chest that crossed the line first. I think that's absolutely remarkable for him to do it. He's the first Olympic gold medalist in the 100 meters for the United States is Justin Gatlin in 2004. And that's the 100 really isn't his event like that. It just became that, but he's really more of a 200. 200, he's what the fastest American to ever run that race in the 200 meters, and he's the third fastest of all time. I'm not sure what his numbers is in the 100, but yeah, I give him that. And then the 200, look, he came out, he jumped around, he was screaming, he was hooting and hollering before, which you got to do whatever it takes to get you going. This is the Olympic final. I'm not going to say it was very smart. If you had COVID and you were struggling to breathe, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. You probably would want to conserve energy. But on the same note, if you go step out there, give it absolutely everything you've got, get fired up, whatever it takes for you to do, and, you know, still finishes third. He finishes third, huffing and puffing and wheezing with the slower time. With one of his slower times in the last few months at 1970, and, you know, you didn't get last. You gave it your all. I saw you give it your all. I saw you lay yourself on the line and have to get wheeled off in a wheelchair for your country to represent your country. Hey, I'm giving you A- B+. Let's go, Noah Lyles. Get that brother a shoe. Signature shoe time.
So, yeah, I wasn't hesitant to give Noah Lyles his props after the 100 meter, especially all the discourse, all the talk that's been surrounding him. But I can't give his performance more than a B for, first of all, winning the three-peat in the World Champions, right? In the World Championship, he won the 4x1 with the team. He won the 200 meter and the 100 meter. So, I mean, with COVID, yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough. If he did have COVID, I imagine that is the case. Then, you know, it's not really necessarily an underperformance because he obviously had something harboring him. But I do find it difficult for me to now say that, oh, his best event is the 200 meter when he's only won it at the World Championships and he's been in 2 Olympics and hasn't been able to win gold in his so-called best event. So,
well, hold on, Chris, let me correct you though, right? Like, yeah, from a historical perspective, he is one of the greatest 200-meter runners this world has ever seen.
Yeah, but he hasn't shown it. He hasn't shown it at the highest stage. World Championships is fine. Yeah, cool, but nobody watches that. When everybody was tuned in, he was not able to get it done.
Lights too bright.
Two times in a row.
Just to be clear with y'all though, medals and marks has nothing to do with all-time lists. Yeah. Medals and marks have nothing to do with all-time lists. If I put a list together and I say, here's the top 10 times of all time, right? It doesn't matter if this person got 8th place in a race when they ran. It don't matter if this person won a gold medal here. If I ask you who are the best performances of all time in this event, you're going to go to the sheet and say, well, who's got the world record? Okay, who got second? Okay. It's real simple here.
No, you're not.
Because here's the thing.
No, you're not.
Here's the thing. Hang on though. Can you win the Olympics in an event in track and field and not break the world record?
Yeah.
Can you win an event in track and field and not be anywhere near the world record?
Absolutely, sure.
A gold medal?
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you can win the Olympics and you can win the championship thing and not be anywhere near the best of all time, how does that?
Okay, I'll tell you. So are you telling me that there are guys that finished? You remember that race was incredibly close, right? Like, you know, I'm the fastest man in the world, because that's what I say. He said, I'm the fastest man in the world. Okay, the dude finished like what the man finished like 0.001 behind him or whatever it was, the Jamaican dude, because it was like photo finish, all that, whatever. Mm-hmm. If you even go back to like 5th, like they were like they were very, like everybody was in there very close, right? So my point in all of that is, does that make the guy who finished 5th, does that make you better than Jesse Owens because y'all ran better than boys back in the? Does that make you does that make you better, or does that mean? So when you say you line up the list and whoever comes first, no. If you get, I don't know why you don't.
I don't understand.
I'm telling you. Okay, let me break it down for you. So again, what I'm saying is, by what you're telling me, if you went down the sheet, you would say, hey, throw Jesse Owens away. He wasn't good enough. That's what you're telling me.
Whoa. Jesse Owens is my favorite Olympian of all time. So that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if I'm going to look at a list of the top 10 100-meter runners of all time,
Jesse Owens is on,
right? He's not. He's not.
He's not top 10.
But if I'm just looking at the time, it doesn't matter. Listen, if I'm looking at the top 10 fastest times recorded, right? Jesse Owens If he's not on it, he's not on it. For
Yeah,
top 10,
that's what I'm
that
talking
doesn't mean he wasn't a great
You gotta
Olympian.
perform. You gotta
That doesn't mean he
perform.
was
Yeah,
a great
well,
You gotta
so
Olympian.
this is-
perform.
No,
when it's time to
guys,
perform.
what is this?
This is
Yeah.
where
It's an all-time
You gotta
performance list.
perform.
this is where I'll
It
jump
doesn't
in
matter
though.
where the race. It doesn't matter if you're a
it
world
does.
record holder. It doesn't matter if you broke the world record at the Olympics or if you broke it at a Diamond League meet. You're still the best to ever
Oh
do it.
man. Okay.
Yeah, but
I ran 8 seconds. Nobody saw it.
But how can you just go down the line with all these people saying, "Oh yeah, he's the fastest man in the world. He's dominant. He's a dominant athlete. He's won individual gold in 2 Olympics."
It's
Like
a
I
different-
just can't.
That's a different argument,
Yeah.
though, right? For example, Noah Lyles just won 100 meters at the Olympics. He's not the fastest man in the world. Krishane Thompson is the fastest man in the world. Do you know why? Because Krishane Thompson has a season best time of 9.77 this year, which is actually faster than the time that won the Olympics.
So then, how does Noah Lyles?
He's the fastest man in the world this year. Noah Lyles is the Olympic champion.
Yeah, and when
Noah
you have
Lyles
to
is the
show
Olympic
up.
champion.
Yeah,
But
and
Krishane
that's-
Thompson, from a
Yeah.
statistical perspective, is the fastest man in the world this
So
year.
2022, the Bucks, or 2019 when the Bucks went to the bubble, Bucks were the best team in the NBA. They're the best team. No, they didn't win it. You gotta you can be
But
the
at the end
best.
of the day,
of all-
they were the best team in the
You
regular
have
season. They weren't
to
NBA
win it.
champions.
You have to win it, and you can't claim we're the best unless you win it. And now, you know who said that? Noah Lyles said that.
I'm lost here. I can't figure out
You
this
gotta
logic.
win it.
Like this,
You
what?
gotta win
Is this,
Yeah, you
what are
have
we
to
doing?
perform on a
I
world
can't
stage.
figure out this
Yes.
logic.
I don't know
here.
why
If
you
look-
can't.
What? I don't understand how whether or not it's a championship or not
Doesn't matter.
impacts your name on a list of the top marks of all time. What
So if
are
I
we
ran in
doing?
practice, something in practice, it was crazy. Oh, do I get to count that? You know what's crazy? You know, I was watching a documentary the other day with Tony Hawk was doing when he first did what is it called, the 900. What did he do? Did he do the 900 first? Or I don't know, whatever twist he did. I don't in the X Games world. But I saw a quick documentary on it, and he talked about how he done it in practice. So he knew he could do it because he'd done it, but he'd done it once before. But it didn't count unless you did it with everybody watching you.
Well, to be clear, when you look at these top 10, hold on. When you look at these top 10 lists of all time and you look at these performance lists, these are at actual meets here. This isn't in practice. These are at actual meets. Diamond League meets to be 30,000 people with these Diamond League. Don't do that.
The Olympics are those, and that's what another.
No, the Olympics is the pinnacle.
They're the pinnacle of the sport. All right. So if you don't perform,
Because here's what you're doing. Here's what you're doing right now. You know what you're doing. What's the NBA record? What's the NBA record for points scored in a game?
I was like, what, 100?
What's the second highest total?
I couldn't. Maybe it's Kobe to 81.
Right. So does an 81? Did 81 not happen? Is he not the second highest scorer in a game because that wasn't in the championship game?
No, Wilkes didn't happen in the championship game. That's not.
Thank you. That's my entire point. But that's the highest mark of all time. And Wilt has and Wilt
nobody's
has the single best scoring performance in NBA history. If you look at a top 10 list of the best scoring performances,
those all
in NBA
happen
history,
at the exact
you
same
gotta
time.
put Wilt and Kobe up there. When you look at the top 200 meter times in history, you have to put Noah Lyles up there because he's third. This is all I'm saying. He's one of the best in history to do it. Now, y'all are saying, well, he didn't do it at the Olympics. Okay, maybe he didn't do it at the Olympics, but at the end of the day, when you're looking at top 200 meter marks and you're looking at the fastest times of all time, you got to respect the fact that he's one of the fastest to ever do it.
I never said he wasn't one of the fastest to ever do it. He didn't do it when the time was appropriate. He didn't put it on.
Okay, so you're grading him as an Olympian, but if you're grading
yeah, that's what these are. That's what this grade is with the Paris Olympics. That's a topic. It's the Paris Olympics. So
and what did I say? I said he is one, the fastest American to ever do it, and two, he is one of the fastest or best to ever do it. Period.
John's a track guy, so that's why John has Noah Lyles back. I couldn't care less. So here's where I'm going. My grade for Noah Lyles, because of all the talk that he gave and all the smack running around with this alleged COVID that he had, he was C minus. Because I gave you won the 100, you won the gold, which is again C minus.
You won the most important event in the Olympics.
Yeah,
the 100-meter dash, and you will get that man a C minus. You're the first American to win it in 20 years, and the hating veins in you The haterade is running through your veins so strong right now. You're going to get that man a C-.
Because let me get this for you, Trey. Because he's also a reason that Botswana has a gold medal instead of us. He's also a reason that Canada won the 4x1 because of us, because he is too sick to go out there and compete with his team in the 4x1. He's the reason we are down 3 in the gold medal count as of right now, because we couldn't get that three-peat out of Noah Lyles, which a lot of people were expecting. A lot of people wanted to see that 3-3 or 3 for 3.
He's the one that told us he was going to do it.
Yeah, it's Noah Lyles' fault the U.S. men's team got disqualified.
No, it's his fault that he wrote, his mouth wrote a check that he couldn't cash.
No. Let's get it right. His mouth did. No. He cashed that check.
No, he didn't.
He won when he was healthy. He won that 100 meters. He cashed that check. Don't do this.
Then he wrote another one and said, "Oh,
y'all are really playing."
I can't remember the quote he had about a 200. He said something like, "I can't remember." If I should find the quote he had about a 200, how he was going to win that. And then he goes out. He says he has COVID, but he runs around the arena like an idiot. And then you come in third. You look that dumb. You know how I'm saying he looked dumb. That's what he looked. He looked very dumb running around like that. And then after, because it's funny, you have all that energy before the race. Somehow you didn't have COVID. That's always it was very Chris Paul of him. That's what it was very Chris Paul of him.
The man had COVID. You saw him leave in a wheelchair. He's had COVID in a history of asthma. Now listen,
Paul Pierce left in a wheelchair. Chris Paul's always injured after the playoffs end. That's how this thing goes. People who lose. And let me ask you this, John. Let me ask you this. Does he leave in a wheelchair if he wins the gold? Does he leave in a wheelchair if he wins the gold? Does he leave in a wheelchair if he wins gold?
I think he lives in a wheelchair if he wins the gold. I think he leaves in a wheelchair. Listen, the man has a history of asthma. He showed he's had a history of asthma. He's got pictures of laid up in the bed at 8. Asthma, like it's known that, and he has COVID. And black people don't take the damn vaccine, so you imagine how COVID's probably tearing him up. And I think the fact that he went out there, period, and competed and tried to do his absolute best for his country was heroic. It 100% was. Yes, he got a bronze medal. Oh my God, is it the worst thing in the world that a man with COVID and asthma gets a bronze medal? Now, was it smart to jump around and act an ass? Probably not. Was it a bit foolish for him to do that? Yes. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to get yourself pumped, get yourself hyped up. What he just should have known was, I only got so much in the tank, so maybe I should have conserved some of this. That's what he should have said. But again, I'm not arguing that the guy's smart. I'm not arguing that he's smart. You know the funny thing about Noah Lyles? I'm gonna tell y'all this. So we from the same city, Virginia, right outside DC, Alexandria. He went to T.C. Williams High School. I went to Hayfield High School. He's a little much younger than me.
The T.C. Williams, that's the
from Coach Boone. Yep, correct. That's where he went. He went to T.C. High School with Coach Boone from Remember the Titans. So I held, or partially held, a couple of district records. I don't know if they were broke. Somebody probably broke them after I graduated. Noah and his brother Josephus, they smashed all of them. All of them gone, done. They obliterated everything. Them dudes was going crazy. That's how I first knew about him. I was like, yo, who the hell are these guys? Because they committed to, I think, Florida out of high school. They were going absolutely crazy in high school. They smashed every single. I said, man, listen, they need to erase my name out the, erase everybody's name out after them, and just name the awards after them dudes. They was killing everybody in high school. So, man, quick side note about Noah Lyles.
Well, that's great. Great from high school. He didn't finish off the deal. That's all I'm saying. But again, I give him credit for winning the gold. I just thought that he really should get an Oscar for the Academy Award winning performance he put on after he lost, falling out and all that mess. Again, I
didn't say it was smart, but I think at the end of the day, the man laid it out there for his country. He played hurt. He has asthma and COVID, and he laid himself out there and still runs 19.7. This is absolutely phenomenal, the type of athlete that Noah Lyles is. Now, listen, is he annoying? Yeah, a lot of times, yes. But the thing about Noah Lyles that I'll tell you guys, and seeing high-level sports folks do this is also something with executives too. What I think about Noah Lyles after watching the Sprint documentary, I think whatever psychologist he goes to, because he told y'all he has anxiety, depression, a bunch of stuff, and I think probably
that's why that was his excuse for not winning gold in the 200.
No, that wasn't his excuse. That was what he said after he won the 100-meter dash. He opened himself up to the world about something.
He also did that in Tokyo when he got bronze in his so-called best event. But go ahead, continue.
So Noah Lyles you know, who was 608 UW? You know what? Listen, man, I did shit in college too. I'm not that guy talking about high school, like, it's like high school. I'm just saying I threw that out there for Noah Lyles. Anyway, what I think about Noah Lyles when I see him literally is I think he's like the quiet, shy, awkward kid who's like probably super hyper. But what I think happened was he probably met with a psychologist who said, okay, create this character for yourself, right? Create this character for yourself to get yourself going. So when you step on the track, you can be whatever superhero you want to be. You can be whoever it is you want to be. So I think when he's on that track, he's trained himself. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that, whatever. I'm going to be arrogant. I'm going to be, I don't want to use the word flamboyant because I don't like using the word flamboyant describing men. But you know what I'm saying? Like I think
you can use that word for people.
But I think all of that. I think that's part of what you see as the whole act. He's gonna get on the track and he's gonna go crazy. He's gonna get on the track and he's gonna act this way. He's gonna do that. But that's not really him. I just don't think that's him. I don't buy that that's really his personality and who he is after watching how he interacts when he's not at work.
It definitely gives inauthentic. Yes, I think that's part of the problem too. I think it 100% gives inauthentic.
This is one of my last points and questions I need to pose to you in the chat. So how famous is this guy really based off of performance if he doesn't make those post-game comments about the NBA? Right. Is he at this level?
No name.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's won 1 gold and 2 Olympics. Yep. How big of a star is he if he doesn't make those comments?
So to your point, Chris, that was probably the most genius thing he's ever done because I promise you, nobody would care about. Not in the track world. I'm sure he's as famous as you can be in the track world. I'm sure of that. I'm just saying, general public, I would not have. I wouldn't know. I didn't know his name. I'm telling you, I did not know his name before he made those comments. The only reason I watch his races now is to watch him lose. I'm 100%. I hate watch it. I want to see him lose. I want to see him fall, stumble out of the blocks. I want to see him dive right into the track. I nothing more would I like than Noah Lyles to do that. I don't want to see him win another thing in his life.
I think his comments that he made were technically right. Let me just go ahead and tell you, he was 100. He's technically right. But I think it was smart because I agree with you. It was smart to get his name out there outside of the track and field world early, because he got a lot of attention for himself. Because truth be told, what really happens in America, and we've seen this happen, I don't know, I mean, at least the last 4 or 5 Olympics, 90% of the people, a track athlete becomes mainstream maybe a couple of weeks before the Olympics or maybe during the Olympics. And then 6 months after that, you really just don't remember them unless their performance was so remarkable, or unless they've made an impression and they have all these different endorsements. Like that girl, the 400-meter hurdler, Sydney McLaughlin. Oh, she cold. That girl. They talking about raising the damn hurdles because she's so dominant, right? Everybody know her. People see her. They're like, oh yeah, I know who that is. But yeah, so it was very smart for Noah Lyles to make those comments. But I'll say this: he's kind of right.
He's not.
They're not the world champions if you win the NBA title. You're not, because you didn't play the world. Yeah, you had a few guys sprinkled in and kind of the greatest. But you didn't play Serbia. You didn't play Japan. You didn't play. And it's not an international competition.
I gotta stop you.
I got a question for you, Trey.
I gotta stop you.
If the U.S. men's Olympic team wins the world, if the U.S. Olympics men's team wins the Olympics, are they the world champions?
Yeah, and they were before, and they still will be.
Yeah. How are the Boston Celtics the world champions? Now there's 2 world champions.
Just all it is. So this is you're the best team in the world in a league where everybody. Again, this isn't like, I see why they don't do it in soccer, because the best players aren't all in one league. Messi's in the freaking U.S. with the MLS. Their best players are sprinkled around the world on different teams. If that were the case, hold on. If that were the case, I'm talking about even from a team perspective. If that were the case in the NBA, I would agree with you. If Joker played in the Serbian league, yeah. If Giannis played in the Greek league and didn't play in the NBA, I would agree with you. Yes, there are much better players out there that are not in this league. All of those players have the opportunity to show that they are the best players in the world, best players in the league that they're in, because the best players are in the best league. That's it. There's, like I said, even in soccer, like the best league maybe was the Premier League, whatever it is. The best players are not all there. That's not the case with the. It's just like are you telling me the NFL player that in the NFL, because the NFL says world champions too? Are you telling me they're not the best team in all of football? They are. There's no. I know Mexico. The Mexican League is not competing with the Kansas City. Who the hell beating Patrick Mahomes? Nobody.
Because you're not the world champion. Again, we just established that you can be the best in the world and not be the world champion. You can be the best in the world and not be the world champion.
Correct, but again,
and there's only one world champion.
And again, in different sports, that's how it works. And I get why he's saying it, because in international competition in different sports, that's how it works. Right. That's not how it works in basketball. And again, the NBA, number one, even if another country were to win, the basketball team would still be the best in the world because all those players are there. So it's not even it's this flawed logic to me that doesn't even make sense. Because if France were to win today, the world champions would still be about
no, the world champions will be France. How does that not? How does that make sense in a world in an international competition? If you're being technical about it, you have to face other. I mean, you're facing other countries. You're facing international teams. You're facing that from that perspective. If France wins this year, they are the world champions.
They about to win 6 straight gold medals. At some point, what we said other was understood don't have to be said. It's
okay. All right. Here we go. No, but you not see where I see Noah Lyles' point is my thing. I see what he's saying when he's saying, how are they the world champions? They play in teams in Detroit. They play in teams in Atlanta. They play in this. I get it. It's not an international league, even though it technically is. I guess with Canada, you could call it an international league. So I guess that's what he's trying to say. Whereas in track and field, you have the world championship. I hear what he's saying, but I guess what I'm saying to you is you can only have one world champion. Can't have two when it comes to basketball. So if it's an Olympic year or if it's the world, if France wins a gold medal, they're the world champions. It's not the Boston Celtics.
So
the
what
Boston
Celtics
are the NBA champions. That's the difference. They're the NBA champions, but they're not the world champions if you're not playing the world. I get
you are playing the world because the entire world's in your league.
No, the entire world is not in your league. You have players from a few different continents in your league sprinkled out playing for different teams. There are cities within your league. That's not the world. That's not the world. That's not the Canadian national
Tell me
team.
who the best player is that isn't playing in the NBA.
This isn't about players, though. This is about international competition.
It is about players. This is
about international play. Listen, man, how is it about? I'm not saying the competition level is different. I'm saying, though, if you have competition, all right, break down like this. If you have competitions that are against the world, right? Olympics is the perfect example. And you win those competitions, how are you not the world champion?
That's fine. I'm not
if you're the Boston
Celtics
and you have a league that is confined to the U.S. and some of the best players in the league are in that, how does that make you?
Number one, you can't say some of the best. No, they're all there. They're not some of the best are in the U.S. No, they're all there.
Okay, but again, so they're all in there and they're all dispersed amongst the teams in your league.
Correct.
They're all the best players are dispersed among all the different teams in your league, right? All 30 teams are sprinkled in there, right?
Sure.
Correct. Okay. But again, and the league only plays in North America. How are you going to say that you are the world champions if you're not playing other countries? If you're not playing other national teams? It's not an international competition. I see what he's saying. In the world champions, he's right logically. Now, NBA fans got butthurt over that because he said that, but he was right logically because he's like, well, yeah, but technically, it's not they're not playing international teams. They're not playing a team from Israel. They're not playing a team from Australia. They're not playing. Yeah, you have players sprinkled in there, but can't really call you the world champions if you're not playing the world. I see what he's saying. Where I'll give you some ground is I'll say, yeah, but there's a lot of, the league is pretty diverse. You probably have at least 20 different countries represented, which is not the world, but there's some international flavor to the league.
This is the thing, and I think this is where he's coming from. Is when Germany who won the last FIBA World Cup, and U.S. didn't win it, and we didn't send our best. He felt like he felt like he could say something to ruffle feathers. When in reality, if we sent our best every single year or every 2 years for the FIBA and then every 4 years for the Olympics, we wouldn't lose. I don't think. Maybe an outlier in there. So I think what he was getting at is like, all right, Germany won the FIBA World Cup. They should be world champions. Just to ruffle feathers. I don't think he really put the logic into it that, the United States didn't send their best players for the FIBA, because we never really do.
Exactly.
The U.S. only cares about the Olympics when it comes to international competitions. We don't really care.
And that's all we should care about. The FIBA World Cup is a joke. They shouldn't even do that anymore. It's just for extra money, I think. So, I don't know.
And that's fine
My
if you
point
want to
though
figure
is
out
that
who
you can be
what
the best in the world
is.
and technically not be the world champion. That's all I'm saying. Is you
I
can
would
be the
agree
best in the world. You can be the best team in the world, but just because you're the best team in the world, that doesn't make you the world champion. That's
I
all
would
I'm
agree
saying.
with that. If to your point, like there were other people, because you keep going. If only in North America, yeah, all of the best play there is nobody who's just out there that's like, oh man, he's the greatest and he just didn't come over. No, if you were that good, that's the reason. The reason why Patrick Beverley is going to Israel right now is because he's no longer he can't play in the league. They have told you, dog, you are not worth it to us in the NBA anymore. Your role is to stand in the corner and play defense. You don't want to do that, you can't play. Oh, he could have, but he mentioned the fact he didn't like the role. His role would have been to stand in the corner and play defense. You actually want to play? You got to play against those firemen and plumbers out in Israel that you tell me that are so-called best in the world that we just don't know about. That they somehow on the best teams when they out there putting out fires at the end of the night. No, stop it. Stop it. They got to go on their shift at the grocery store. At the grocery store when they finish putting up 8 points and 4 rebounds. That's what they doing after work. Everybody else is going chilling in mansions in the NBA. But my bad. These guys aren't the greatest players to ever play. Al Farouk Amino for 3 says, because we are the best. 608 UW says, all the best players play in the best league. That makes the team that wins that league the best team in the world. I agree with you.
I agree. I 100% agree with him. And it doesn't make you the world champions, but I mean, because it wasn't a world. I mean, but yeah, I agree. He's 100% right about the best team. I'll give you.
So now you just told me the best team in the world is not the world champs. And now I'm very good.
Yeah,
you're the best team in the world, but you're not the champions of the world.
That makes logical sense, especially if they're not engaged in international competition. Yes, that makes.
Let's
that'd be like calling Alabama football the world champs. Like, listen,
no, you can't, because the best people. No, see, that's where you're going with it. But the best players aren't at the collegiate level. The best players are at the NFL level.
Yeah, but they're not. Guys, I'm lost here with this though. It's not a competition against the
it is, because all this.
We live in a world where there are actually international competition, though, right? We live in a world. Let me ask you this question. Okay, so let me track and field logic.
It's a different.
U.S. men's team is solid, right? Sprint team is arguably the best in the world, one of the best. Like for the most part, you're going to see guys in the U.S. men's sprint team medaling in every single Olympic sprint event most of the time, right? You usually are going to see that, right? You can make an argument that the U.S. men's sprint team is the best in the world.
It's fine. Okay.
If you win the Olympic trials, if you win the United States Olympic trials, right?
Yes.
Does that make you the world champion?
No,
so because how is that not?
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. At the U.S. Olympic trials, are you racing against other people? Are you racing against anybody that's not U.S. born, that's not in the U.S.? Are you racing against other? Who are you? Are you racing against Shelly Ann and all? Are you racing against? It's Shakira in the U.S. When you're doing for the when you're doing for the Olympics. No, this is going with your logic. If you're going for the U.S. trials or whatever it is, aren't you racing against other U.S. competitors?
You're racing against other U.S. citizens, but you do have people from other countries, who've come from other countries.
You know what? Now you're trying to play me. No, what I'm asking is, my
point is that makes no sense. My point is that makes no sense when the U.S. trials call yourself.
Because I'm about to hold on. Now I got to break it down. No, because what you just told me is if you're racing against U.S. Yes, are you talking about U.S. But they have U.S. citizenship. That's what you're talking about. People like that. What I'm talking about is the best of the best. They're in the Jamaican trials, or they're in the what's the name, right? And if that were the case going on, what you're saying is almost like the USA men's track and field is the same, is the governing body, just like the NBA is the governing body. The difference is the USA track and field governing body. Those don't have the best player. They're in their Jamaican body or whatever it is. In the NBA, the governing body, the best players, the Serbs, the French. Everybody's under the U.S. control in the NBA governing body. So everybody's there. That's the difference. You're correct. If we didn't allow Joker and Wemby and Embiid has kind of Embiid has done it. But yeah, so I'll go Giannis. If we didn't allow those guys to do that, I would agree. And again, I would also agree if all those guys were like Joel Embiid, where they had U.S. citizenship, and yeah, you didn't want to play for France until it was time to do that. I could roll with you there. That's just not the case. It's not the case. But let's move on here. Let's talk.
My man Eric L got jokes. He said, I already know how this combo was gonna go. As soon as it started, we're gonna be on the first topic the rest of the show.
Let's push into U.S. basketball.
Right too.
I know it. Let's push into U.S. basketball, where the U.S. basketball makes a big comeback to beat Serbia in the final at the Paris Olympics. U.S. is going to host France a little bit later on today, the host nation, and Serbia beat Germany for the bronze medal also earlier today. The game changed in the fourth quarter after a wild sequence saw the U.S. score 6 points in 2 seconds. KD made a three while Anthony Davis was fouled. Then the U.S. got another possession, which is interesting. It's different than the NBA because in the NBA, you would just get a free throw, I think, at that point. But the U.S. got another possession, and then KD hit another three. Just like that, a 78-67 lead for Serbia was down to 78-73. The comeback was on, and Curry's three put the U.S. up for good, added a pair of free throws, 8.2 seconds left to make it a two-possession game, and the Americans escaped. Joel Embiid with 19. LeBron added 16 for the U.S., which is now assured of its 20th medal in 20 Olympic appearances. Man, that's not bad for some guys that aren't the best in the world. That's interesting to me.
Nobody ever said they were the best in the world. I said world champions. There's a difference. There's a difference between best in the world and world champions. Here we go.
Bogdanovic, who should be a Milwaukee Buck, scored 20 points to Serbia, and then 17 from Nikola Jokic, and then 15 from Aleska Averamic. Serbian coach Sveslav Petic kept saying the same thing all summer, that the team the U.S. put together for the Paris Games was better than any team in Olympic history, even the Dream Team, he insisted. The U.S. improved to 144-6 all time in Olympic play. Man, those some pretty good numbers for the guys that aren't the world champs. 63 and 4.
They are the world champs, right? Because the USA men's basketball team was the world champs when they won the gold medal.
63 and 4 since NBA players were added to the Olympics in 1992. The comeback kept KD's hopes of becoming the first four-time Olympic men's gold medalist very much alive. So I don't know how you guys thought about the U.S. men's team, their performance against Serbia. Again, they have France coming up here in a few hours. I guess I'll start and say, again, that was an incredible game. Joker, then I think got a triple-double. He had a triple-double today to continue to lay claim to, if he wants, I think Joker is squarely in the category. If he wants to call himself the best player in the world, I think he can do that. And he kept up with some of that rhetoric that's been talked about him with his performance throughout the Olympics. But again, I think the interesting thing to me, you can go a lot of different directions on this. The interesting thing to me about the U.S. men's basketball team is there's a question I want to ask too. LeBron, now again, KD played it very well. Curry put up 36, but LeBron James at 40 years old, doing what he does. I mean, it's everybody talks, and I was in another group chat where they were talking about, you're crazy at this point if you still have Michael Jordan over LeBron. And I think everybody can concede the fact that MJ at 40 years old, MJ couldn't do this. Like I think so. If you go longevity, there's no question. From a longevity standpoint, LeBron has been the better player the question is, I think the only question is, if you're putting MJ over LeBron right now, is how do you rank his 6 title run, 6-0, that run that he had of dominance? Was his dominant streak, was MJ's dominant streak better than LeBron's? And then, you look at the Dream Team. It was so funny. I was looking on TikTok, and I saw like a couple minutes of the Dream Team's first game. People were like, "Hey, let's." Chris, like, we're done with the 90s. Mm-hmm. And they were showing it, and I was like, oh, yeah, this like they was playing some trash. Like the world is definitely, to your point, John, the world is definitely much better than they were back in 1992. Like, there's no question about that. But so the competition wasn't as great for MJ back then. The competition is much greater now for LeBron. If you have LeBron still at number 2, you're splitting. To me, you're splitting hairs at this point. Who's better, LeBron, MJ? That's where I go with this, trying to figure it out. Does another gold here with the amount of international competition, especially with LeBron being the face? Like, he's not getting no PT like Jason Tatum. His mama ain't calling up to the International Olympic Committee asking why her son's not playing. But that's, I look at LeBron and the things he's doing, and again, you just can't help but be impressed. I don't know, just a lot of ways you can go with the goal, with the U.S. being on the verge of another goal. And it's funny. Did you take the? I asked this too. Did you take this as any pettiness when after the U.S. won, they tweeted out, the U.S. men's team tweeted out, no, they said like, no bronze for us, something like that. Right after Noah Lyles got the third place.
Yeah, let's talk about that game. I love LeBron James at 40, willing this team to helping will this team to victory. Man, these are Olympic moments. This is the stuff where you like, wow, just like we talked about Noah Lyles winning the Olympics literally by the length of a nose, right, sticking the chest out. You watch that fourth quarter comeback, and that is definitely what I would argue one of the strongest quarters in USA basketball history. One of the most memorable quarters in USA. Watching this team come back. I mean, the fact that they were down at one point by 17 to the Serbia team, cut the gap to 12. I mean, you just look at LeBron, Steph, and how about Joel Embiid especially that dunk in the fourth quarter. For all the knocks that we give Joel Embiid, right, because he can't stay off the floor. Which, by the way, Trey, he seems to like the international floor too, because that's just his get up. Because for a whole lot that game too. Yeah, even though he was significantly bigger than a lot of people as well. But anyway, you watch that. I mean, LeBron James, here's what I'll say. The Michael Jordan thing, obviously back-to-back titles or 2 3-peats is incredible. Like that is absolutely incredible. 2 3-peats with different rosters like that. I mean, you 100% got to give him credit for what he did. For a while, I wasn't really going to make the Bron Jordan argument because I said, well, Jordan has won all these championships. He won, 6 championships in, 8 years or 7 years whenever he was retired. He got back. He took different teams there. He was with the same coach. Jordan also had a bunch of all-defensive teams. But, man, you look at LeBron James overall as a basketball player, and you just say, yeah, how do you not start entertaining that argument for LeBron and Jordan being on the same level? Right? Like, I mean, especially when you look at level of competition. That's the thing. Like, a lot of people, when they argue about Bron and Jordan, they don't want to look at level of competition when Jordan played. I don't want to disrespect those guys by saying Jordan played against plumbers, because I think the league was a lot tougher back then. And I think that guys, although they weren't as big, fast, or strong, they certainly, they had there was a different game at that point. I don't know about you. This is my boomer. This is my old man take. But I just, for the life of me, cannot understand how a 250-pound man gets lightly touched and flops all over the ground. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense to me. But yeah, I think you do have to give LeBron and Jordan a real argument when you argue who's better. I think you really got to really look at that. You can't just dismiss it. Go, oh no, Jordan's way better than LeBron, because that's just not the case.
And it's just the way he's been able to do it for as long as he has, like these same drives that you see from vintage LeBron James back when he was, 20-some years old in Miami, just being dominant. And he did that to tie it up versus Serbia. Look, I don't think they ever should have been in that position versus Serbia team. I get they played tremendously. At halftime, they were, 13 for 26 from 3. Like, they just weren't missing. But at some point, we got to look at what Steve Kerr did. And in the third quarter at the end, I think maybe like 3 or 4 minutes left to go, the USA was able to cut it down to 6. And all of a sudden he goes like some full AAU five men in, 5 men out rotation. And all of a sudden we're back down double digits to start the fourth quarter. So I don't think they should have ever been in that position. But it led for some great entertainment. It led for, vintage KD. At the end with that ISO, knocking down the shot to pretty much ice it. Steph Curry, I mean, how much of a shame is it that we've only gotten him for 1 Olympics, and it'll probably be his last time? I mean, that's a guy who's also, a lot of people might be, wow. Birds, they flock together. Steph Curry being that he's only been able to perform in 1 Olympics is a real shame, because, like, he always has it in him to go off, and it was awesome to see that we were just Steph Curry 3-pointer away this whole time. Like, every possession he came down and he shot a 3, you were confident, and he went off, and it was awesome to see. Joel Embiid, I thought he did a good job playing defense on Jokic. The offensive rebounds were a problem because Serbia kept, I think, out physicaling him, but he consistently answered on the offensive end. I thought he was a great addition, especially, Bam shooting threes down double digits and AD fouling and just not being a good competitor versus Jokic. I feel like Jokic just kind of owned that matchup. So for Embiid to step up in a big way and keep us in it with those mid-range shots and stuff like that, getting to his spots, I thought that was great. And then, it was awesome. It was a collective effort from everybody down the stretch in the fourth quarter. Even Devin Booker hit a big shot. Like I also have to wonder about the future of the United States men's basketball team, because it was pretty much the veterans who stepped up and carried us. And, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, nowhere to be found. So that, kind of leads me into being a little concerned about where we're headed for LA 28. But then you got to think we got guys like Zion and Ja who might be able to take that leap for us in the next coming years. So we'll see.
And they'll be a little older too. That's the thing. Anthony Edwards and Tatum will be a little bit older, and be a bit more seasoned if they're lucky enough to be on the Olympic team the next time around.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that it was definitely, the whole thing's definitely interesting. Watching those guys and trying to figure it out. And you're right. You talk about. I think that's a valid question moving forward. What is it going to look like? When it's not KD, LeBron, Steph leading the charge. Like this is definitely an influx moment. Again, the last 4 MVPs in the NBA have been international players, between Joker, Giannis, and Embiid. So you're seeing this kind of changing of the guard, and who are the American-born players that are going to step up? And we get to Jason Tatum, who can't get off the bench. We get to Anthony Edwards. We get to guys like that we want to see, like a John Morant. Those those are the guys that are now going to have to kind of take the torch for the Americans and continue to push this thing forward. So again, I'm very interested to see how it moves, going forward. And again, some of those guys are young, I guess he'll be 34 next Olympics. When you talk about Joker, Giannis, those type. So again, maybe a change the guard for the internet. But again, you talk about the international guys. You talk about Wemby in 4 years should be. I mean, just if everything, he should be the best player in the NBA. At that point, I think that's everybody's expectations for him, and it would be a Noah Lyles type of catastrophe coming in third if he is not. But I'll just do that for John.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it for the rest of the year. We keep this energy up, man. Keep this energy up. Because I gotta tell you, if Wemby has a flu game where he's sick and he's balling like that, man, y'all not gonna hear the rest of it because that's pretty good if he's third best in the league.
Well, I also think the U.S. just needs to take advantage of LA 28, being that they're probably not going to have these type of guys like LeBron, Steph, KD if they retire or choose not to play. They're going to have to win that one. And then I think it'll spiral into, consistently, being great. Those guys will keep getting older. And I think it'll still be the same formula that has been for the past, 4 Olympics now. It's just they just have to take advantage of winning when it's early. So in 28, they got to, even if they're young and new to international competition, they got to win that one. And I think it'll keep spiraling and it'll continue its same formula.
Let's talk about Jason Tatum's mommy, Brandy Cole, who took to Twitter demanding answers as to why Steve Kerr benched her son for the second time during the summer games. She aired her frustration in a reply to ESPN broadcaster Dick Vitale, who was also curious about Tatum's lack of playing time in Paris, and cited his All-NBA resume. Dick Vitale says, "Someone please let me know, is Tatum injured, as he haven't received the PT you would expect an NBA player to get?" His mother replied, "No, he not. But if you find out what's going on, please let me know. Unacceptable and makes no sense." So again, publicly kind of a call out there of Steve Kerr and what they have going on. I guess my question to you guys there is, and I think a lot of people have an issue with some of the things Steve Kerr has done. It's amazing now. This is the first game that Kevin Durant's going to start. I know he has some injury concerns early as we're going into this, but first game he's going to start, and it's like, wow, it took to the final game for you to play Steph, KD, and LeBron all together. leading the way, like, on some Captain America type of the trio there, the Avengers. But I guess my question, Jason, does he have a legitimate gripe? Does his mother have a legitimate gripe? I think if he had known he wasn't going to play, I don't know that he goes. There's no. This is embarrassing. This is for the level. Like, it's not embarrassing for Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton's not at that level yet. And again,
he's lucky to be there.
Right,
he's lucky to be there.
Lucky to be there. Right, and that's that's where I'm going. Tatum, no. Well, he didn't win Finals MVP, but he's an NBA champion. Was a big part of the Boston Celtics. He basically he runs his own team, runs the most storied franchises in the NBA, and he's been benched twice now. Do you think this is Steve Kerr just like really evaluating what's best for the team and saying he doesn't play? Is there anything deeper than that, or that because that's been alleged as well, suggested, or I don't know. I mean, because again, even just from obviously, I don't like the Celtics, but from a non-biased perspective, it does seem odd that Tatum at least doesn't get on the floor. Like it just seems odd that he can't get on the floor. What do you make of that?
I think Steve Kerr's trusting his vets. I think he's like, listen, I gotta trust my vets at international competition. I'm trying to get this gold medal. The only question that I really do have about this though, from the perspective of looking at Jason Tatum, how does he look in practice? Is he not focused? Is he not competing? Is he not? Because I would imagine that when you have a team this good, practices are great. Those practices are very intense. Guys are going crazy out there, right? Because you've got the absolute best of the best. Iron sharpens iron. But I've got to wonder, does he look shaky in practice? Does he just look disengaged? Is he not interested? Is he, what's the deal here? But at the end of the day, Steve Kerr don't owe that man nothing. You're on Team USA, but he has to help this team. He's got to help this team win. He's got to help this team bring back a gold. And that's what we're looking for as Team USA. I think the other thing is your vets. I mean, some of your vet, Bron James, Steph.
Lose JT.
Go ahead.
Oh, there he is. We got him back.
I don't think we have his audio.
No, we don't got him. All right, Trey.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'll go ahead and take over for JT. But what I was thinking was that, like, he just didn't show what he needed to show to consistently stay on the floor. Like, after his first DMP, he got the nod to be in the starting lineup. And what is that?
Go ahead.
No, you're good. He was in the starting lineup and didn't perform all that well. I don't know if he gels particularly well with this group. And when you have so many options offensively, I feel like it's easy for Jason Tatum, for like an on-ball scorer, a guy who scores well with the ball in his hands, to kind of take a backseat role in a high-powered offense. And I think that's what they're asking him to do, and I don't think he can excel at that. So it's no surprise to me that he's not getting much playing time. I don't know if it's a gripe that Steve Kerr has. I just think that KD, you look at it from position to position, I think KD is a better player right now. At least in international competition. I think KD can catch and shoot better than Jason Tatum. I think KD he poses more of a threat in the ISO. I think you rely on him. You're more confident in KD taking these big shots down the stretch, especially Jason Tatum coming off of a playoffs where he really just didn't shoot the ball well. Jaylen Brown won that Finals MVP for a reason. Maybe that carried over. Maybe Coach Kerr is seeing that in practice, like JT said, and maybe that's what it is. And 608 UW said he just doesn't make sense for this team offensively. I agree with that. That's what that's kind of my point too.
Well, that's my thing. I just wonder why, if even from a defensive perspective, and that's where they were getting hurt. The other day against Serbia, where Serbia's just hitting three after three after three, a lot of gambles, a lot of reaches, and Serbia's just making them pay with these three balls. And it's like, I wonder why Jaylen Brown didn't play on the team, because again, even from a defensive perspective, I thought Jason Tatum could have been out there on the floor, but Jaylen Brown would have made a lot of sense because he's an even better defender. And again, it took him a while to take Jrue Holiday out of the game. And like you said, go with the veterans and whatnot. Because Jrue Holiday he literally looked like it looked like they're playing 4 and 5. Like Jrue Holiday was out there playing defense, and then it was I think it was KD, LeBron, Book, and or Steph/Book, and then Embiid out there, and then whoever that fifth guy was just like A lot of times it was Drew, who's just out there, just kind of running around and standing around doing whatever. So again, it was interesting to see. I just think it's embarrassing for Jason Tatum that the stature he is to not play. And so I get the gripe. I feel like if you're not, I'd rather not go and than stand around and like that's got to be it just seems a little embarrassing in the moment to kind of watch him do that, So I definitely get it. Mm-hmm. Chris, what's next? What's next? I can't see the list. What's next on? Let me.
We got game balls. I'm gonna work on JT getting back into the show, and then you can definitely just give your game ball right now.
All right, bet. Oh, I think is he in?
I gotta put his camera in the show. This is how we do it from the producer side. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We can just hear him. All right, yeah. So my game ball for the Olympics is 100%. I'm gonna give it to Simone Biles. Like I'm gonna give it to Simone Biles. She obviously does all the things that she needs to do. She's a decorated champion. She said she's I believe is she I don't know if she's retiring yet or if she's gonna be done with everything. But again, she gets a silver medal on the floor. I know she got at least she got a gold, I believe, in all around. I can't pull this up. I can't find it. But again, Simone Biles, just 27 years old. I was watching Hard Knocks the other night, and she has so 24 right. So 24 Olympics, she has 3 golds and 1 silver. So she wins gold in the women's artistic individual all around, gold in the women's artistic team all around, gold in the women's vault. And then she's silver on the floor. So again, she does a great job. She goes out there, talks the talk, walks the walk, unlike your boy Noah Lyles. She says bronze is not an option. She goes three golds, 1 silver. I'll take that. And you know what? If I was grading her performance, I'd give it an A+. So how about that for Simone Biles? It's funny. One more point though on the Hard Knocks thing. I was watching Hard Knocks. And they let my man Jonathan Owens, they let him go to Paris, right, to watch Simone Biles. And then for one event, he comes back and he's watching her on the floor. And there's been a lot of talk because I think from Jonathan Owens when he originally said that he was the prize and it wasn't Simone Biles, and so people got upset about that because he's a backup safety. Simone Biles is a decorated Olympian. And then there's issue of him holding the gold, and so people were upset about that. And then I'm watching Hard Knocks. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was interesting because myself, I was watching the U.S. play to Serbia the other day, and I'm like screaming at the TV. Let's go! I'm going crazy. I was watching Jonathan Owens watching Simone Biles on the couch. I don't know what they got going on, but it ain't a lot of say. What is that? She finished her routine. What is that? Like, get up. Your woman is competing for a gold medal. Get up. Get your ass up, man. Get up. Scream at the TV. Let's go. Like, no, man, I get more excited watching the Carolina Panthers, and the Panthers suck. I get more excited watching my Panthers, Bryce Young, get a first down than this man watching his wife compete at the pinnacle of the sport. Jonathan, I was trying to be on his side. I'm starting to swing the other way. There's something's odd about the way it's real odd. It's very odd. Get it together, dog. That's all I'm saying. Get it together.
Oh, you know what's wild?
Get that woman first.
So did you know? Did you see that Simone Biles is going to donate $4 million to Kamala?
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
And that was wild because
I didn't know she had money like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you see a candidate, people thought, like I guess she had or somebody for. All right, Chris. I ain't trying to do that right now. I ain't trying to do that, but
that is a lot of money.
I didn't know she had big boy paper like that. Like, I mean, she's been popular, but she's been popular for 8 years and has a ton of endorsements. So,
hey, whatever happened to Gabby Douglas? Is she still popular? What happened to her?
No, actually, so people give her a lot of flack. Apparently, like she came out the other day and said people, she's been bullied. I don't know why people.
What happened to her, man?
I don't know.
I
I
she
remember
got
Gabby.
hurt. I think she's still around. I think she got hurt at the trial
She
or
was
something like that.
she was like the original Simone Biles, and then like Simone just like took like
No,
that's
hang
like
on,
Simone just knows how to do the Dougie.
Let me
Simone just knows how to
straighten
do
you
the
up.
Dougie correctly.
Dominique Dawes is the original Simone Biles, right?
Okay.
Dominique Dawes is the original Simone Biles, right? And then Gabby Douglas came along, and Gabby Douglas with the Dougie, which I that's her biology.
horrible. Is that that was her downfall? Is that what started her downfall?
But anyway, so the thing about Jonathan Owens, though, because you're right, he kind of leaned into that. Oh, I didn't know who she was. I was the catch, and whatever. And
Yeah, he's wild.
I mean, there's two ways to look at it. One, he should be a little bit more lively. And to be fair, they showed him in the crowd at the Olympics. He was a little bit more hyped once he was there. He was a little bit more fired up, once he was there. But, he is missing his job. He is taking off time. The Caitlin Clark, they're doing the CC. By the way, everything going down, guys, stop talking about Caitlin Clark. Imagine that. We ain't talking about Caitlin Clark in weeks. But anyway, he was a little more lively in the crowd. And I guess you could say on the one hand, it's honorable that a football player, NFL guy, is going to miss training camp to go see his wife, right? Especially somebody like Jonathan Owens, who I'm assuming is going to be a backup safety on the Bears, I'm assuming he wasn't signed to start, is going to miss training camp, right? He's going to take
He better go out there. She got $4 million in the bank.
Oh, right. That was my next point. And I was going to say, you know what, though? It might be a business decision. Like, it might be a business decision because I'm not going to go pocket watch Jonathan Owens and look up his flow track. But I'm going to guess that if $4 million is going to a presidential candidate from that household, the bulk of that money is coming from his wife's direct deposits.
Yeah.
So
who's your game ball, JT?
Yeah, who you giving your game ball to?
You know what? I'm gonna go with Quincy Hall. With the fourth best 400-meter performance of all time. He was coming off the last curve in that race. He was coming off the second curve in that race, and that last straightaway, he was I want to say at 90 with somewhere between 90 and 80 meters left. He was in like fifth place. And Quincy Hall, just that gutsy 400-meter performance to right at the last second to bring home that gold medal. I think that's the stuff that the Olympics are made of. That's another example of grit and fight and never give up. Keep your foot on the gas pedal the entire time. Run through the line. Whatever analogy you want to give an athlete. You look at Quincy Hall's race for 400 meters. This is how you fight. This is how you keep going and just keep doing your thing. And then also you look at Senor Noah Lyles in that 100 meters. Run through the line. Run through the line. Run through the line. So yeah, Quincy Hall gets my game ball for the Olympics.
I feel like throughout the Olympics, there's always the dominant athletes that you can go with: Simone Biles, Katie Ledecky, and people who just specialize in their events. Like there's a guy named Ryan Krauser who's won shot put the past 3 Olympics gold. Nobody's touching him. Like there's all type of ways you can go with this. But I'm gonna go with the Armando Duplantis kid from Sweden. He's broken his pole vault record 6 times now, and he just broke it again to win gold at the Olympics. I know that's kind of a wild card, but it shows you that I've been watching. I saw what he did, and it's just like, man. And the problem is, too, he's born in the United States, went to LSU and stuff, but still competing for Sweden, which should get the boo on the sound bar. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, it's
still working
amazing
on
to be able. I think pole vaulting.
Yeah,
I think pole vaulting is one of the tougher Olympic sports, probably. Like just being that high in the air and consistently being able to break your own record and keep winning every time you go out there. I think that's one of the more dominant performances I saw. So I'll give it to Armando Duplantis.
What was the man? You said somebody was doing the shooting.
Yeah, we had what's his name, Vincent Hancock.
I was trying to plug that.
Yeah, he was good too. He won gold. He's won like 4 of the past 5 Olympics. So yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. Oh, and how about Scotty Scheffler too, the golfer? He was. I think he was back like 6 strokes going into the last day. Pause. And and he shot a tie for the course record in France, and he won the gold for the United States. So Scotty Scheffler, Armando Duplantis, all these guys. I just love the Olympics. Olympics get my game ball.
So you're giving everybody game balls.
Yeah, everybody.
Right, yeah. A lot of game balls.
Participation trophies too, even for Noah Lyles for coming in bronze.
There you go. So yeah, good stuff there. 608 UW says, I agree with Trey. Definitely embarrassing for him. I think he's talking about Jason Tatum there, and then he also says he's still gonna get a gold medal. And then we're taking out the trash on a Saturday. Yeah, we absolutely are. So yeah, I think the next thing on our agenda is just an Olympics review. I did want to get into for a second, and we kind of go wherever you guys want this. In 2028, they're going to add 5 additional sports. One of those is flag football, and I think that's going to be fun. Like I don't know if they're going to have current players playing. I think that might be a little bit much, just because the season. I mean, again, they're in preseason right now. By the way, Jaden Daniels' first NFL drive, 2 or 3 45 yards with a rushing touchdown. But they'll be on the precipice of their season, so I think that might be a little tough for the current NFL players to do it. I don't know. I know they've been promoting, like you said, Chris, earlier, they were promoting Jalen Hurts on that and some other guys. But I wonder if this would be cool for and this is what you can't mess up, because I don't know. So if you're not gonna have current players do it, that's fine. But you can't do it like 3-on-3 basketball, where you didn't allow, where you got the Jimmer Fredette type. Man, let these old heads go out and show that I would rather watch old heads compete and lose than watch guys I never really heard of. Again, we knew Jimmer Fredette from BYU, but I'd rather watch like T.O. line up at wide receiver against whoever the best Japan got out there, and let me see Michael Vick let me see Cam Newton at all-time quarter. Like that's what I'm trying to see, right? Like, so I would be tuned in if you told me that was we watching like retired NFL players. Ocho Cinco and T.O. on wide receiver, both Megatron. Man, oh yeah, I'm interested. That you sign me up for all the rounds of that if that's the case.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. That's what I think you probably would see young players who maybe they got injured and they had to retire early, but they can play flag football, or especially for quarterbacks. I mean, there's so many old quarterbacks sitting around that can probably sling it, can probably get out there and still play. That's really, I mean, that's everything in flag football. Right? You gotta throw it. You can't throw it. You can't really do much. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I am excited for flag football. Guys like Reggie. Well, we want to see old athletes play. Probably not guys close to 40. Maybe.
Hey, Tom Brady deserves a gold medal. He could do it.
Hey, I want to see Tom. Hey, I'd love to see Tom at quarterback.
I mean, you're right. It is flag, so maybe you can play, right? Maybe you.
Yeah, I look. This has to be an event where everybody's competing for silver and bronze. I do not want it to be a situation where we don't send the best that we're allowed to, or we send these, washed up football players who just play flag on the side. They work a normal 9 to 5. I don't want to see that, and I don't want to see the U.S. lose in a sport that we invented, right? I think we invented it.
Yeah, because have you seen? I don't know if you've seen this, but there's I don't know, they have international competition. Yeah. I think the U.S. sends a team that's under. I don't know who they be sending over there. They are terrible. Whoever they send, they lose to everybody. It must be one of the worst they've ever seen.
Yeah. So if they're allowed to bring NFL players, this shouldn't be close. They should be more than capable of winning a gold and doing it in dominating fashion, which everybody wants to see. Nobody wants to see these 9 to 5 guys have to go through these Olympic trials and stuff. Just let the guys play, let the stars play, and show how dominant we are. It's in the United States. We're in LA. Come on, let us dominate. Let us get Tyreek Hill at the slot. Let us get Jamar Chase and all those guys, and be able to dominate the sport that we're so good at. And yeah, I think that's how it should be.
I tell you what, who I definitely could see playing too. I can see some college guys trying to get up in the mix. I can 100% see some college players trying to get up in the mix.
And now I bet you there's more than enough, Canadians now that can field a decent team if you add in college players too. So I think hopefully there's no crazy requirements on who could play like 3v3. You're right, Trey.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I don't want to see. Anything else on the Olympics? I know there are a couple of things y'all want to talk. Anything else on Olympics y'all want to get at before we go to NFL? Quick look around NFL.
Maybe this ain't the show to start talking about volleyball outfits, so I'm gonna just go ahead.
Hey, a couple of them Hey, look, for the United States, I've been seeing these track girl spouses, and hey, the white guys got a chance now. We got a
Hey,
chance.
man, they do. I'm just gonna tell you though. Looking at these volleyball women, man. Here's my only thing with these volleyball outfits. So y'all know why they wear like the volleyball outfits, the 2-piece. Y'all know why, right?
I don't know why.
No.
So the reason why women wear those outfits is because sand gets in areas when you're playing sand volleyball, and the 1-piece, if they wear the 1-piece, it's going to chafe too much. So that's why they started wearing the 2-piece, because you get sand in a certain area. Like imagine having sand trapped in between your hamstring and your pant, and like it's just going to chafe. It chafes too
I
much.
can imagine getting
it's
stuck
hot and it's
somewhere else, but
uncomfortable
okay.
like that. So they don't like that. Well, I don't know if kids
hamstring.
ain't no kids watching, but we're gonna go with the hamstrings, even though instead of the ham.
Groin.
There you go.
The groin.
This is the thing when y'all remember that when Trey said, say groin, Trey.
Growing.
Okay.
No, that's what I said. Growing. It's growing. I don't know what's funny.
We all right, man. All right. So, but anyway, when you look at these women's volleyball players, you'll see that the 2-piece outfit. But some of these two pieces now seem to be cut a bit different than they've been in the past, and it seems like either they cut different or the women are making modifications to the uniforms. Which, listen, I don't have no problem with it. You're an athlete, wear what you want to, wherever makes you feel good. But it's been a little bit controversial online with some people saying they shouldn't be wearing that. They shouldn't be wearing that. Why them shorts halfway up, whatever. And it's like, listen, man, you're at the Olympics. You keep doing what you've been doing all year. When you get there, let folks wear whatever they want. You'll be okay.
Well, did you hear about? So I actually did see this. Did you see where the IOC made I guess they wanted to talk to their broadcast partners about the way that they are doing close-ups on some of the female athletes, and apparently this is like a kind of a male bias thing, because again, you gotta think, and it's funny. It's not funny, but it's an interesting article where it was like, think about the people who have the cameras. When the last time you go to Bucks games, go to games all the time, Panthers games, like you see camera operators. I don't know that I don't remember the last time I've seen a woman operating one of those cameras. So it's almost like the parent what they said is there's like a male bias to zoom in on areas that you may not, or zoom in on things during a broadcast that you may not zoom in on for a male. I don't always watch this, but apparently that's been a problem, and so they have kind of made some directives to some of those camera operators and to broadcast partners to stop doing some of the things that they are doing. So I thought it was interesting too.
Somebody's got to get those low shots.
I'm just looking at it from this perspective, right? Because I don't know the sport for volleyball. Technically, I don't really know that much. But I will say that if you're a true volleyball, I would be curious to hear what the perspective is from true volleyball cams, right? Like sometimes you may want to see that ground camera, you may want to see that low shot, or you may want to see that, and you may want to see. Same thing with gymnastics. Same thing with that. I don't know those sports well enough to really know, from a technical perspective, what you like, what you're looking at. But what I will say is that my understanding is the ratings for this year's Olympics are very, very high. And, and I've heard nothing but great things about the broadcast on Peacock and everything else too. So I don't know if you really want to mess with it if the formula is working. Right.
Well, I think one of the big differences for Peacock that I saw as well is that they're not shying away now from showing the stuff live. Like there used to be this back in the day, they used to kind of hold back on everything. Like no allow stuff happen, in the middle of the day. What it used to happen is NBC, whoever had Olympics, you wanted to show all the primetime events at 7 o'clock. Now we go, and this could have happened 6 hours ago, but that's what we're showing that. I still think they do some of that on NBC, but you are not, because you have Peacock, because you have all the streaming, availabilities. They're showing a lot more things now live and allowing people to see them. Because again, people will stay up and watch their favorite stuff, whenever it happens, if they have the opportunity to do it. So I think you're seeing a lot of that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we need to start messing with it. I understand that folks will be in their feelings over that too. And I get the bias with male cameramen, but listen, their job is to capture the action on the field or the court or the sandbox or wherever. And I think they're doing a remarkable job at that.
Yeah. Anything else on the Olympics before we push forward to the
Chris, you on the phone?
No.
Okay.
I would say the last thing for me is just I can't wait for it to be in LA, because one, might be able to go there, but two, I'm tired of all these 3 a.m. starts for these random sports. I do want to watch some fencing here and there, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's I can't wait for it to be on United States soil. It'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just
any issues or questions related to, if you guys have been watching as the NFL gets underway. I don't know if you saw the Hall of Fame game was postponed. But again, that's all a part of all the festivities leading up into the NFL. I don't know if you saw, there's a lot of contract issues are going on. Talk about Brandon Ayuk, talk about Jerry Jones. I never seen it. There's a meme going out with, so Jerry Jones said about CeeDee Lamb, he was it's not my priority to get him paid. And somebody on Twitter was like, if I send you this picture of Jerry Jones, just know, hey, and I owe you money, just know, hey, it might not be coming. Because that's how Jerry Jones is operating. But right now, again, I know people are and I got to get the fantasy league set up too on our end. But right now, everybody's you're scrambling around. You're getting your fantasy drafts. What is this type of year? What does this time of year look like for you? And what are you enjoying right now as you as we are basically a month away from the NFL season?
I love the fact that everybody's hype about their rookies, that their rookies are playing well. You just talked about Jay Daniels, perfect example, right? You watch, if you see your rookies playing well, if you see the tools, it's your first time seeing them in actual NFL competition. So that's an exciting time, I think, for a lot of people, football-wise, right now. Again, there's still not a ton going on in sports as we. Yeah, you got the Olympics, right? But besides that, you really don't have a ton outside of baseball going on right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, watching your rookies, watching your guys. Perfect example for you, Bryce Young. I want to see what Bryce looks like. New coach, new system, new wideouts, new weapons out here. How does that look, right? Especially the way that ended last year. You certainly want to see that. I'm a Colts fan. I want to see Anthony Richardson. What are we looking like here? What's going on? Did we learn something last year? You're not going to see a whole lot, but you want to see something. So, yeah, I like preseason for 2 quarters.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just pretty much waiting on the actual regular season to start. I don't really dabble too much into preseason just because, it's a lot of people fighting for a job and all that stuff. And it can be cool to watch a little bit, but it's just, one drive and then all the good players are out. So it's kind of boring to me. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to the NFL season. The Bengals get a good healthy Joe Burrow, hopefully. That'll be awesome for the AFC. I think the AFC is going to be a gauntlet this year for anybody. Derrick Henry going to the Ravens, that's awesome. Patrick Mahomes still trying to do what he does. What is he going to go for? Is it three-peat? Going for a three-peat. Yeah, so going for a three-peat, his 4th ring, right? So, it would be cool to see that too. I'm certainly excited for the NFL. The new rule I just saw, that's probably one of the bigger things I've seen in the preseason about the kickoffs, how they are starting. They got it from the XFL or USFL or one of the two. Yeah, so I think that's cool. I think it actually is probably pretty productive because now you're not having guys running 100 miles an hour down, trying to take your head off down the field. And then, I'm also excited for college football, man. College football should be fun to watch as well. You got, the Colorado Buffaloes, right? The Buckeyes of Ohio State, Georgia. Those are the top-tier teams. Oregon, the new Big Ten, talk about conference realignment. That's going to be something to watch, too. Colorado in the Big 12 now. Arizona and the Big 12 and, Oregon, Washington in the Big Ten, all that stuff, USC, UCLA. So, I'm excited for football as a whole. I think we're going to get a new look at what the college landscape is like. And then in the NFL, we're just going to get pretty much, like I said, a gauntlet in the AFC. And we'll see if your Panthers can get out of that NFC South.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I think you just want to see the growth from Bryce, and again, I really like the receivers. I like Xavier Legette. I like we got Adam Thielen out there on the running the slots, and then we can one of those young guys, Terrence Marshall Jr. or
Deontay.
we got Deontay Johnson, of course, too. We got to not drop the football.
Yeah.
But Terrence Marshall and my other boy John Domingo. What can those guys look like?
Hey, one more thing
as well.
Why are white people acting like they never heard a black guy with a southern accent before? Like this is outrageous with Lee.
Oh, Xavier, man, it is intense. That is deep.
Usually we don't make it on TV.
Yeah.
I'm what it is. Usually we don't make it on TV when it's that strong.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, nah, man. I'm like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic for this team. I just, I'm still scared about the offensive line. We didn't look good in the first preseason game. Again, Bryce didn't play, but you know how that goes. And I'll say this before I let this thing go. I think this year, this is going to be the start of the decline of the San Francisco 49ers. I think this is a wrap. I think it's a wrap for them. This Brandon Ayuk situation. I just think again. I think we're going to see again. And I think Brock Purdy's decent. I think he's an okay quarterback. But I think it's going to start to unravel just a little bit for the 49ers. What any bold predictions from you guys before we get up out of here?
I think the 49ers are still going to be very, very good. I think the only way the unraveling of the 49ers happens is if this calf strain that Christian McCaffrey has lingers into the season and he's not healthy all year. I think that becomes an issue too. But no, I think the 49ers are still going to be a great team this year if everyone's healthy. The issue I see with what I see happening with Brandon Ayuk, I just saw a report saying that they've reopened negotiations. So first they gave him permission to seek his trade, and apparently New England was willing to make it.
He didn't want to go New England or Cleveland.
But apparently Cleveland was also willing to make and they really liked the package from Cleveland because they were going to get Amari Cooper in return. Amari Cooper on the 49ers, he good, cookie, right? And so he turned that down too. So I think this is going to reach a point to where they reopen negotiations. But the question you really got to ask yourself too is what is the worth of Brandon Ayuk at this point? Because Lamb hasn't signed, Chase hasn't signed. You saw Justin Jefferson get paid, but then you've seen other wide receivers, Michael Pittman Jr., guys in the mid-20s, guys getting $20 million a year. So mid-20, in that 25 range. So the question I kind of ask is, well, what is Ayuk looking for? Because the teams that are clearly willing to pay him that money, he didn't want to go to.
Yeah, I we'll see what happens with them. That's interesting. But I also want to take a look at the Eagles. If they're not able to win anything with Saquon now, there's going to be some serious conversations to be had, some serious turmoil in that organization if they're not able to take advantage of what has been a weak NFC for a little while.
Yeah, all valid things. And again, the NFL preseason well underway at this point. Packers play the Browns a little bit later today as well. If you're a Packer fan tuning in, we do want to appreciate everybody who rocked out with us this morning, especially Eric L, 608, UW, Gabe, Robert, all you guys, and then everybody who's gonna watch this on the replay. Just having some fun out here. Again, there was no only T's and Q's today due to Packers cover. So hey, man, we thought we'd throw out a little content for you and just have some fun. That's about it, man. I don't have anything left. Any final words from you guys?
Enjoy your weekend and listen, man. Pay somebody to cut your damn grass. Change your life. Pay somebody to cut your grass.
Oh, I got some people of Hispanic descent. $35.
Hey, I seen my man cutting grass across the street. Jogged over to him, was like, "Hey, how much y'all want to whatever?" Right? I saw they had the right tools, right equipment. How much y'all want? Oh, y'all want this? Bet, done. Took that, and now weekly got people cutting my grass. I ain't got to worry about it. I don't have to worry about sweeping anything. I don't have to worry about edging anything. Man, it is a life changer, and I get an hour and some change in my life back a week to not do that.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it is definitely a game changer. Definitely a game changer.
Last thing I'll say is shout out to the Packers on the all white uniforms. I think those are pretty clean.
Yeah, dope. Yeah, very dope. Very dope. You know what it is, man. Hey, man, stay locked into the Cream City crossover. You know we're gonna be talking Milwaukee Bucks all season long as that season approaches. Always you can find everything, most up-to-date news on the NBA at the CCC. Let's see, man. We're back. Orange Keys should be back in next week, unless the Backs have another preseason game. I'm not sure the schedule. But anyway, stay with us. Subscribe, like all of that good stuff for us. Appreciate everybody for joining us. Appreciate everybody who's going to join us in the future. From the Guru, Trey Crosby III.
JTA, USA women's team, gold medal in Paris for women's soccer, as expected.
Yes, sir. Chris King.
Hey, don't take no Wood Nichols. No bronze. Kurt.